So welcome back to my channel. This is Gamer Dom, and to the final part of the sort of what the tanks are supposed to do in World of Tanks. We've looked at heavy tanks, the different types of heavies. We talked to the two main types of light tanks, mediums, and last time we did the assault tanks, the tank destroyers that have the armour and the big stupid guns that could just blast people in the face, that really are designed to engage at short to medium range. So this time we've got the lightweight tank destroyers. These are the hunters. These are the snipey, hidey, killy kind of tanks. So again, bit of a history lesson on tank destroyers. Tank destroyers were originally a stopgap type of tank. They were pressed into service initially as a sort of quick response to enemy armour on the battlefield, particularly the Allies using them against the Germans, because they didn't have guns that were good enough to take out the German armour, and then the Germans used it in the Eastern Front against the Russians because likewise they didn't have the kind of gun calibre to take out Russian tanks. And it's mainly because to design, test, prototype and then start mass producing battle tanks can take years, even in a war scenario. You know, the designs for something like a Leopard, a Panther or something like that on the German was several years in the making, and several prototypes were made before the final Panther was put into production. And even then, you know, it took months if not years for the factory output to be converted to producing those sort of vehicles. So, you know, but you can't sit, if you've suddenly encountered an IS or a KV-1 on the battlefield and your gun's just not working, it's no good saying, well, hang on a minute, we'll be back in 1944 with a tank that can really deal with that thing. So the designers came up with the concept of taking either existing designs or obsolete chassis and designs and putting bigger guns on them and making them fixed turrets, usually making them sort of just a stopgap solution that could go in and support to their armoured formations. And that was really what the tank destroyer's function was. Now it morphed a bit as the war went on, Second World War went on. They became more and more part of the kind of defensive posture of tanks, so of armoured divisions. So the Germans defending after D-Day in the Bocage region of northern France, the Russians and the Germans defending on the Eastern Front in various twos and fros between the two sides, depending on who was on the offensive and who was not. Made great use of tank destroyers to be ambush weapons, to sit in bushes, to hide on likely approaches, to defend key junctions, key hills, key installations. And because they had very high caliber guns compared to their sort of peers in the battle tanks, they were extremely effective at that. They tended to be very low silhouette vehicles that were very, very good at concealing themselves. So in World of Tanks, as I said in the last video, there are two types of tank destroyers, really, broadly. I'm just trying to generalize it. I know there's lots of sort of, you could say, oh, but what about X, Y, and Z? But really, broadly, there are two types of tank destroyers in World of Tanks. There's the assault guns, and there's the lightweight tank destroyers. The assault guns, as I said before, tend to have a lot of frontal armor. They tend to have very big or very rapid firing guns, and their role is very much to get in the face of the enemy. That's really why they have that armor. The ISU, for instance, built on the chassis of a Russian heavy tank. Then you get lightweight TDs like this Borsig. So this thing was originally designed on, or this chassis was designed as an artillery carrier, so a transport vehicle for either pulling artillery or mounting self-propelled guns on it, and was pressed into service as a design. It never actually saw service, I don't think. They did prototypes of it, but it was designed as that. So consequently, it's not really designed to go face to face with the enemy. It has 20mm of armour, 10 on the side and 8 on the rear. Another example, this thing, Scorpion. This is a Tier 7 American tank destroyer. This is 1mm of armour. You know, there's tin cans with more armour than this thing, because it was designed to be dropped as part of paratrooper drops. So it would be loaded into gliders, and to support the poor old paratroopers when they were in the early days of dealing with enemy tanks and so forth. You get other tanks. Let's have a look at some of these other ones that are sort of more lightweight. So the Achilles, again, very much a lightweight tank destroyer. This thing, yes, it will bounce some shots. It's got a little bit of armour. Certainly turret-wise, what's that, 57mm? But this is a Tier 6 tank that will come up against, you know, Tier 8. So that armour ain't going to hold you much good. So, you know, you really want to play it sitting back. And these things are designed, whether they have a turret, usually most of the lightweight ones have turrets. Just trying to see. Yeah, most of the lightweights do. The Grilly, that's a lightweight tank destroyer. Scorpion G is certainly a lightweight, although people play that much more aggressively than you might otherwise do. The Krumpfsteier, that's another lightweight one with a turret. Now they don't always go completely around, but they have got turrets. The Wolverine, one of my favourite tanks, definitely lightweight, definitely a sit back and snipey tank. And of course the Swedish tanks, Swedish archetypal snipey hidey tanks. This is what they're great for. This is what they're designed for. They're designed to ambush the enemy. That's the whole. I mean, these aren't actually tank destroyers. In the Swedish army, they were main battle tanks, but in the classification for World of Tanks, they're tank destroyers because they fit that mold perfectly. They were designed to ambush and delay the enemy from getting close. So their best role is finding somewhere where they are supported. You do never want to be isolated in a lightweight tank destroyer. You want to be somewhere behind your frontline troops. You want to be in a concealment position and with places to fall back from. So you need to try and keep the engagement from medium to long range, depending on who you're facing. You do not, in an ideal world, want to be facing things up close and personal. If you do that, you're probably going to die because you haven't got the armour to deal with it. So keep it concealed as long as possible is the absolute key in these lightweight tank destroyers. They're very easy to spot. You just don't have any armour. So, you know, you can tell the difference between this as a Tier 8 and this is a Tier 8. This has 120mm of armour. The UDES, 20. So it's fairly easy to tell the difference. Now it does get a little bit more complicated when you get into higher tier games with a lower tier tank, so your bottom tier. Then, you know, there are tanks that kind of can perform at either role, but generally you need a little bit of mobility, you need good concealment, and you need a good accurate gun. Then you're probably looking at a sniping, concealing lightweight tank destroyer, proper old school tank destroyer, not an assault gun. They will, the role, as I say, is very much medium to long range engagement. So let's try a couple of games. Okay, so let's see a light tank destroyer in operation. This is the excellent Charioteer, the Tier 8 British tank destroyer. So it's turreted, obviously. It's based on the chassis of either a Comet or a Cromwell, I forget which now. I'm sure somebody can correct me in the chat. This is driven for us by oh god, Cornick 71, and it's on cliffs. This is obviously on the new patch. This is 1.0, and he's taken a new position that I didn't even know existed. There you go, you find new things every time. Got up into a lovely tank destroyer position up here, and what I like is look how far back from the bush he is. He is really doing his darndest not to be spotted. Does use binos, and this thing has a pretty punchy, very accurate and pretty good pen gun, fires APCR, so it's quite a standard, so it's not premium round, it's standard round, so it's quite effective at long range. Nothing doing though, unbelievably. Usually you get tanks just screaming up onto the hill. Now what's odd about this matchup, there's no light tanks on either side, so that's probably why nobody has made a dart for getting up the hill. I6 is asking for help, but then just running ahead anyway. And now, excuse me, I don't mean to badmouth certain players, but that I6 is alone. He can see he's alone. He can see there's nobody close to him, and yet he's continuing round the corner on his own. It's like, well, just use your brain, engage your brain. Just anyway. So slow start this. There's not an awful lot happening at the moment, but Cornick is keeping a really close eye on that centre area. There goes RI6. I bet he starts bitching and moaning in a minute. Yeah, just what possesses people to do that. Anyway, there's an I6 in the middle. No shots yet for us. And this is the job of a super light TD, I'm afraid. It's keeping you cool, holding your fire until you get the perfect opportunity to unleash hell. Unleash the fires of hell. So nice shot there into the IS-6. Did he track him? Nah, not quite. Okay, here comes the flank attack. Look at that, IS-6 didn't even manage to put a dent in that T-34, but we can. Nicely done. I think I'd be tempted to go for the T-69 to finish him off, but can't argue. Can't argue. Nice. Gets him in the end. He's far enough away, and this is the secret with these sort of TDs, is firing at range. Keeping your distance. Keeping that gun firing away at distance. T-69's moaning. Noob team. Well, yeah. He was the one that's dead. It is 5-3 at the moment, but we're crawling it back. It's 4-6, and Cornick's actually got these guys pretty much where he wants them. Especially if there's especially if an I6 decides to trundle around, but unfortunately he couldn't quite snap the shot into him. Oof, IS-6 is an ex-IS-6. Now where has that AMX and that Lurv gone? The Borsig down below us should have spotted. Ah, hello. There's a Super Conqueror. Unlucky. Pull back just as we unleashed one, so to speak. I don't mean that in the rude way. So I suggest that if you want to play lightweight TDs, you really don't want to play them if you haven't got any patience. It's like playing light tanks. You've got to, well, there's two, as I said in the previous video, there's two types of light tanks. So if you're a passive light tank player, you really just got to hold your fire, hold your nerve, keep it together. That Lurv he doesn't really know where we are. So obviously the rough direction of where that shell came from. You can see him turn his turret there as if to say, where did that come from? Okay, T-44, can we finish him off? Not quite, live on 13 health. What a nightmare. We're still not being spotted. Oh, nice job on the Super Pershing, sets him on fire. Nice shot again into the low. And there goes the low, and suddenly we're back in this match. It's 9 plays 10. We've done 3,200 damage, barely moved from the starting position we got to. But I haven't needed to, and that, again, that's the secret of a TD, lightweight TD, is find yourself a good position and keep firing while you still are able to. Now the thing is, he hasn't been spotted, so he's able to sit it out and just farm damage like this. Now it's 10 plays 11, and that's his third kill, 3,600 damage. I think that's, if anything else has snuck round, that is everything on this flank. So now he's got his eyes firmly peeled on the sort of 1, 2, 3 line, so that we can see anything down there. Patience, patience, patience. We used to get stirring music now with 1.0. We'll speed this up just a smidge, because nothing much is going to happen for a little while. Now the onus is really on the enemy team. Oh, there we go, because they have the outnumbers. We've just taken down our Samua. So we're now down to just 3 tanks. But if that IS-3 comes around, IS-3's down, right, artillery took him down. So it's back to fairly even stuff, 11 plays 12. Now we know there was a Borsig up there on the hill. T-28 prototype was last seen, oh there he is again. I was going to say, was last seen down here, and he wouldn't have gone very far, and now he definitely hasn't gone very far. Lovely shot again, 390 damage, 4 kills. It's the final 2 of the final 3 for a Top Gun, and he's finally off and running. He's moving a bit carefully, because hey, he's a lightweight TD, and these things get blown up even when they someone just breathes on them. I've been tempted to have loaded the HE stroke Hesh shell. Oh, we got spotted. That's the first time in this game he's been spotted. It's nearly 4,000. Ah, there is the Borsig. It's lightweight against lightweight. Oh, what's the Borsig doing? Did he damage his gun or something there? Yeah, no he didn't. I think if I'd been him I would have reloaded with HE at this point, but hey, never mind. Borsig is taken out by the artillery, and we have to get a little bit defensive while we're waiting for the artillery spot to come off us, because there are 2 enemy artillery left. Lorraine is a pretty accurate one, and the GW Tiger P has a pretty big splash radius. Now the good thing is that, well, the Lorraine may well have moved, because the Lorraine is a fast TD. The Tiger less so, so it's likely that he will be in one of 2 locations. A12 area or A4 area. That tends to be where most artillery locate on this map. Push up the top, see if we can get any spots at all. No signs so far. To me, this is how you play these sort of TDs. You're a bit cautious at the beginning, get yourself into a nice position, but don't be afraid to use their mobility. Most of these TDs, lightweight TDs, are actually fairly nimble. This thing certainly is. It's built on the chassis of a medium tank, so it's very nimble. Trying to hunt out the artillery. There is only 2 of them left, so you can't afford to take too much of a pounding here. In fact, with light armour, you can't afford to take any pounding. Again, I think I would have loaded the HE stroke Hesh shell that this thing has. It's not the true Hesh, because it doesn't do monumental amounts of damage, but it does pretty reasonable damage. And you're going to do more module damage and may well one-shot those artillery if you were using HE. So anyway, by the by, he's not, so you can't listen, you can't hear anyway. Okay, so where have those two artillery gone? He's trying to be really careful here about getting some spots without giving his position away. You can guarantee those boys are already loaded and ready to fire. Speed it up again. Come all the way around back behind. The rain's going down that way as well. That's a pretty good position for the artillery to fire across. It's been spotted, which means the arty must be down here to the right. Bad news is that means they'll all be swinging their guns our direction. The rain's going balls deep. Lorraine on Lorraine action there. Any chance? Oh, I think I think he was so focused on trying to find them that he didn't actually pay attention to the fact he had actually found him. So Lorraine distracted him, and that allowed us to take the kill. Lorraine's gone to the cap, but has been taken out by enemy artillery. There he is there. Come on. No, you've got plenty of time. Plenty of time. Now you've been spotted. Come on, just aim sensibly. Aiming in. Oh, 15 health. Oh my lord. Why does that happen? This guy's still not going to load in time, I don't think. No, sure enough he doesn't. And that is it. Game over. Nicely played. Well done. So that was a nice game from Cornick. Finished up with an ace tanker. He got spotter, arsonist, bruiser, fire for effect, Pascucci's medal, high caliber, sniper and top gun. Unsurprisingly top of his team. 5,632 damage and 6 kills, 1728 base XP. Fired 19 shots, hit with 18 of them, and penned with 16 for that 5,600. He took one hit himself, which obviously penned because he's a lightweight TD, and even got 2,200 assistance damage in that game. Now he doesn't run a premium account. He benefited from the missions that are running at the moment, so 52,500 credits plus 10,000 even after costs made a profit of 35,000. Without a premium count would have been 61,500 if he'd been running a premium, which is amazing amount. And with his times 2, 4,320 experience for the crew. So there you go. That was a lightweight TD doing what lightweight TDs do, sitting back, sniping at medium to long range, and only committing when the battle was pretty much in the latter stages where he really needed to move forward. Okay, so this is Janko Comas, we'll call him Janko for short, driving the British Tier 6 tank destroyer, the Achilles. This is, I featured it before on the channel. It's a sort of cross between the Tier 6, I suppose the Jackson on the American line, and the Tier 5 Wolverine, and it's kind of a mixture of the two. It's obviously open topped, as you can see, has quite a fast firing, high penetration British styley gun, but doesn't have any real armour, so it fits very much in the category of lightweight TD. And particularly in this kind of matchup, this is a Tier 8 game. He's bottom tier, he's on Properovka, and he's going very, very aggressive. Probably more aggressive than I would be going. However, it is an encounter, so I guess that's kind of to be expected. And also you can see he's got friends in front. There's it's not friends with benefits, it's friends in front. There's an even 90 there, and now he's able to hit that E2 very nicely, who really rashly pushed over the hill, and he's going to pay for it, is he? Can we finish him off? No, just can't get through the turret. How about the Su-100? Can't pen him. There's plenty of targets there. T-34-85M. He's well within our caliber. Look at this gun. Ping, ping. It's only doing 150, 160 a shot, but wow, it's doing some damage. Now that even 90 is being chased by a 12-ton. Using the bushes here to good effect, keeping well back so he can't be spotted, just to try and keep these guys honest. Unfortunately even 90's down, but what a kind of mess he made. Oh, nice shot. 12-ton. I don't think he was aiming, but he definitely wasn't aiming at the 12-ton. Just cannot penetrate that Sioux back there. Couple of shots just for good measure at the end, and you can see medium to long range engagement there. Okay, so it's hard to penetrate tier 8s at that kind of distance, but the lower tier tanks and lightweight tanks, very, very easy for this gun. And that's really where this TD or any kind of lightweight TD comes into its own. It's about the long range engagement. You do not want to be getting too close. You haven't got the armor to get close, and if you get close like that, you're only going to get absolutely smacked by anything that comes your way. Firing a load of blind shots towards that KV-1 that was over there in the cap area. Has he got a chance? Oh, it's a KV-3, it's not KV-1. What am I talking about? Nice shot. Hasn't got much to aim at. Yeah, that one dinked into the railway car there. Don't know where that one went. Looked like that was perfectly lined up, but now that one may well have hit. Anyway, there's still an AMX out there. Oi. Oh my goodness me. Good grief. Okay. Can't hit that KV-3. It's 5 plays 4. It's still very tight, this game. Aiming for the top of the turret, or changing to premium rounds. Can't say I blame him on that point. That KV-3 is really tricky to take on. Waiting for him to reappear. Again, medium to long range engagement. That's where these sort of TDs come into their own. You do not want to be getting close and personal in these things. Not unless you're top tier. You really just haven't got the armor profile to do it. Takes down the Su-100. Still trying to hit that. Aiming for the... yeah, that's better. Into the turret area there. Just getting an outline there, not quite. Ooh, but another target though. Not sure we're going to pen him from here. Going to fire through all those railway cars, which is not easy. There are 3 artillery still on the enemy team, so he's playing this very, very carefully. Trying to get some shots through those gaps. No, no joy. Trying to squeeze it under. Oh, that was a good shot there. Wow, he led that shot beautifully. Oh, and there's the artillery. One of them anyway. One shot. 2 shots. He's trying to weave, but he can't weave a 17-pounder shell. Okay, so the game's come back. It's 9 plays 10. I can't get a shot on that VK. Going to have to go a bit closer. But it's really not our thing. You can see nobody's pushing closer. There's nobody on the hill to spot anything. So he's going to have to go in himself. Now, as the game goes on, even in the lightweight tanks, you need to be prepared. You can't just sit there and keep sat back. You've got to be prepared to move and connect with the enemy a bit. Oh, there's a KV-4. You do not want to be up against the KV-4. Artillery splash. Oh, 390 damage. We are a lightweight TD, of course. Wow, that he's just doing the job of keeping that guy spotted at risk of his own health with the artillery so active, but doing the job for the team. Looks like Steve 4257 has got in close and personal. Can we get shot up on those guys? Was that 12? Can we get him? Where is he going? Oh, he's coming forward. He's not looking. Trouble is we haven't got the alpha for him to be really scared of us. Mind you, the artie's just blitzing him. Whoa. He's doing a really good job here, Janko, of just keeping them spotted. Artie is looking directly at us, so you do not want to go over that cliff. Nice shot. Oh, the other Artie was there and got us as well. Never mind, we've got plenty of time to finish him up unless somebody else finishes him. No, got him in the winning shot at the end there. Really, really good game there from Janko. Fantastic, good job. And a bit of posing at the end. So that finished up being an ace tanker, unsurprisingly a cracking game there in the Achilles. He even got his first mark of excellence in that game. Also got spotter, bruiser, fighter, fire for effect and high caliber. Finished up 2,806 damage, 4 kills, 1481 base XP, 41 shots fired, hit with 26 and penned with 21 for that nearly 3,000 damage. Took one hit himself. And he also got splashed by artillery, which nearly finished him up. 2,400 assistance as well. That's the other thing with these things. The lightweight TDs tend to have very good camo values, and therefore you can hide and use that camo to effect in terms of getting extra credits, extra bonus, extra experience for the assistance damage you do. 57,700 credits, also the 5,000 for the missions that are running at the moment. Did fire a little bit of premium, but still made a very handy 35,500 with a premium account, and 2,778 experience for his crew. So cracking little game in the lightweight Achilles. So there you go, a couple of games in the lightweight TD class. Now these things, as I said, they survive by stealth and medium to long range engagements. That's where they're really at their sweet spots. That's what they're designed to do. They are designed to stay hidden for as long as possible and lay down fire at distance with a high velocity, usually a high velocity, highly accurate, high penetration gun, and then to fall back before the engagement gets too close. These things are not, they do not have the armor to be able to stand up in a toe-to-toe fight with a medium or a light, even a light tank will wreck you. So, you know, that's the way you should be trying to play when you've got one of these tanks. Now, in the mid to late game, or when things get a little bit desperate, then maybe you need to use that mobility to get a bit closer and to cause a bit of mayhem, because these still do have good guns, and you know, they can still be quite punchy. But again, you don't want to be doing it toe to toe. You want to be fighting dirty. You want to be sneaking out behind somebody and firing at them and then getting the hell out of dodge. But ideally, the same, medium to long range is your sweet spot with these things, and if you do that, they'll perform pretty well and you'll stay alive a bit longer. If you go and brawl, you won't survive very long. Anyway, I hope you found this useful and interesting. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. In the meantime, enjoy your games, have fun, try not to take it too seriously, and I will see you again soon. This is Gamer Dom signing out.